To become queen, they had to pass the perfect body test. The three women were Anna from São Paulo, Mia from Egypt, and Lisa, a beautiful princess from Istanbul. All of them were incredibly beautiful, and the king couldn't decide who to choose. So, he used the golden mold. It had the shape of the perfect body and was covered with 108 tiny bells. If any part of a woman's body touched the mold and made a bell ring, she would be eliminated. But the king didn't expect all three women to pass the test easily. They had been trained from a young age to maintain perfect bodies. Still, beauty was not enough. The king wanted a queen who was also smart. He asked his royal advisor to give them a very difficult question. All three women answered without any trouble and even gave different, clever answers. The king still couldn't decide. So he started a third test. He placed 3 glasses of wine on a table and said one of them had poison. To become queen, they had to show courage and trust their luck. Then, 3 prisoners were brought in to show what could happen. One of them drank and immediately fell down, pretending to die. Before they could react, the king told the guards to blindfold the princesses. The cups were changed and shuffled. Then the blindfolds were removed. The king told them they could still quit if they were scared. The Egyptian princess gave up right away. She didn't want to die just to become queen. Now only Anna and Lisa were left. Lisa stepped forward to show her bravery. But in the end, she got nervous and told Anna to drink first. Anna didn't hesitate. She picked up a cup and drank it all. When nothing happened, Lisa started to regret her decision. But she was still too afraid to drink and chose to quit. To everyone's surprise, Anna then picked up the second glass and drank it too. Then she drank the third one as well. Everyone was shocked. Anna had already guessed the truth. She believed the king was kind and wouldn't really poison anyone. She was right. The prisoner who acted like he died stood up completely fine. The king was very impressed by Anna's wisdom and courage. He immediately made her queen. The beautiful queen was already in love with the foreign knight Renaud. The king, who worked so hard to find the perfect queen, ended up heartbroken and embarrassed in front of everyone. His rage knew no bounds. As punishment, he cruelly handed her over to the palace slaves. Days earlier, Princess Anna's royal convoy had been ambushed by a gang of bandits. The moment their leader saw Anna's exotic beauty, he decided to take her as his bride. Thankfully, one of her loyal maids escaped and ran into the brave knight captain Renaud. When Renaud learned of the princess's capture, he immediately led his knights on a rescue mission. Renaud gave the command to attack without hesitation. The bandits tried to fight back, but they were no match for trained knights. Sensing danger, the bandit leader grabbed Anna and fled to a steep, guarded hilltop. Renaud and his men couldn't climb it easily. It would cost too many lives. So, Renaud courageously went up alone to negotiate. The bandit leader offered a deal: 100 sheep in exchange for the princess. But before Renaud could answer, the leader allowed him a glimpse of Anna. The moment their eyes met, Renaud was stunned by her beauty. He agreed to the deal without a second thought. After the bandits left, Renaud gently lifted Anna's veil. He was speechless. Anna too was drawn to Renaud's courage and charm. They surrendered to the feelings they had tried to hold back. The next morning, Renaud vowed to protect Anna and escorted her to Baghdad, where she was to compete in the queen selection. But just before they reached the palace gates, Anna turned to him with pleading eyes. "Run away with me." Renaud's heart ached, but he shook his head. "If we run, the king will be furious. It could lead to war. We can't risk that." For the sake of peace, they had to let go of their love. With great pain, Renaud watched as Anna walked into the palace, away from him. In the end, Anna was chosen as the new queen. After that day, Renaud changed. He became quiet, bitter, and drowned his sorrow in alcohol and brothels. He thought he'd never see her again, until the day Anna's caravan prepared to leave the city. Renaud disguised himself as a palace eunuch and slipped into her chambers. As soon as they saw each other, they rushed into a desperate embrace. But fate was cruel. At that very moment, the king walked in. Blinded by rage, he ordered his guards to seize them. Anna was sentenced to 81 public lashes, but according to the law, someone could take her place. Without hesitation, Renaud stepped forward. He took every lash in silence, never making a sound. Anna's eyes filled with tears as she watched him endure the pain. Enraged by Renaud's sacrifice, the king ordered Anna to be thrown to the palace slaves. The slaves, thrilled by the command, dragged her away. Anna screamed in terror, but just in time, Renaud's knights arrived and fought the slaves off. They rescued her and carried both Anna and the wounded Renaud out of the city. At last, the lovers thought they were free. But the king was one step ahead. Weakened from the whipping, Renaud couldn't travel far, and their last water bag was shot by an arrow, clearly meant as a warning. They realized the king wasn't done. He wanted them dead. Anna, torn with worry, left him behind to search for water. But just as she found a small stream, the king appeared. "Give up, Renaud. Come back to me. Be my queen again, and all will be forgiven." Anna shook her head. "I'd rather die with him than be your queen." The king tossed a bag of gold at her feet. "You'll return eventually," he said coldly. Anna stood frozen, confused. The queen and the badly wounded knight finally reached a small town. But to their shock, not a single villager was willing to offer them even a sip of water. Even when Anna offered all the gold they had, the villagers refused. No one dared anger the king. Left with no choice, Anna turned back for help, only to be surrounded by royal cavalry. It turned out the king had anticipated this outcome all along. To protect the man she loved, Anna willingly returned to face the king. When Renaud finally awoke from his coma and learned that Anna had traded her freedom for his life, he was heartbroken, but the decision had already been made. With no other option, Renaud led the diplomatic envoy back home, and Anna believed this would be their final goodbye. But fate had other plans. Unrest had already taken root within the palace walls. The king's most trusted general was secretly gathering forces and plotting a coup. The king barely escaped with the help of his personal guards. They fled toward Renaud's kingdom to seek reinforcements. Determined to crush the king completely, the general led his troops in pursuit. During the escape, Anna fell off a cliff. Fortunately, two elderly villagers rescued her. Wasting no time, she reached Renaud. She begged him to send troops to help the king. Though the king had tried to keep them apart, he was, at heart, a good ruler. Renaud didn't hesitate. He gathered his knights and rode back to the kingdom. Renaud himself struck down the traitorous general. When the king heard of their victory, he was deeply moved. As compensation, he allowed Anna and Renaud to be together. After enduring countless hardships, the lovers were finally reunited.